Welcome back to another episode of the Optima Method. I'm Saskia Munn, founder of Optima Operations Consulting, and every week we talk about systems, leadership, operations, and building the kind of business that gives you freedom, not just another full-time job. Today's episode is one that I think every entrepreneur needs to hear because we're going to answer one simple question. Why do goals fail? Not why businesses fail, not why marketing fails, not why employees fail, but really why goals fail. Because here's something that shocked me when I first began studying business strategy. It isn't that entrepreneurs didn't set goals. They do. In fact, most entrepreneurs have notebooks filled with goals. They have vision boards, whiteboards, sticky notes, Google Docs, business plans, annual resolutions, quarterly objectives. The dreams are written everywhere, but very few ever become reality. Not because they lacked ambition, not because they weren't talented, not because they didn't work hard. Their goals failed because they were trying to build a skyscraper on sand. Today, we're going to talk about why. For years, I thought success meant simply working harder. I believed if I stayed busy enough, answered enough emails, worked enough weekends, said yes to enough opportunities, eventually everything would click. But something strange happened. The harder I worked, the further my goals seemed to get away. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't unmotivated. I wasn't lacking ideas, but I lacked the structure. And that's a massive difference. Because hard work without structure creates exhaustion. Hard work with structure creates momentum. That lesson changed everything. We all love setting goals. January is everyone's favorite month. We all think this is my year. I'm finally going to grow. Somebody may say I'm going to hit 6 figures. I'm launching my business. I'm hiring. I'm getting organized. But then February arrives very quickly and life happens. Emails pile up. Customers need help. Kids get sick. Meetings appear. Invoices need sending. And suddenly the goal becomes something you'll get back to next week. Then next month, then next quarter. Does this sound familiar? You're not alone. Here's something most people never think about. Goals don't fail at the end of the year. They fail in the daily decisions. Every day, you either move forward towards your goal or you drift away from it. And drift is almost invisible. Missing one workout doesn't seem important, but skipping one planning session feels harmless. Ignoring documentation feels faster. Until 6 months later, you wonder why nothing changed. Goals didn't disappear overnight. They slowly get replaced by urgency. Goals fail because they never become systems. Think about this. I want to lose 20 pounds. That's a goal. Walking every morning, meal planning every Sunday, tracking calories, those are systems. I want to grow revenue. Goal. Weekly sales review, marketing calendar, lead tracking, follow-up process, those are systems. The goal tells you where you're going, but the system determines whether you ever arrive. One of the things I learned managing enterprise implementations, billion-dollar organizations don't depend on motivation. They depend on repeatable processes. Nobody walks into Monday morning asking, do we feel like processing payroll today? No, there's a system. Nobody asks, should we answer customers this week? There's a process. Nobody hopes projects magically finish. There are milestones, owners, governance, documentation. Small businesses often depend on memory, whereas large businesses depend on systems. That's one of the biggest differences. Now let's talk about the 5 common reasons. Number 1, there's no clear vision. You can build towards something you haven't clearly defined. I want growth, but what does that actually mean? More customers, higher profit, more freedom, less stress? Goals need clarity. Vague goals create vague actions. Number 2, there are too many priorities. Everything cannot be important. If 10 goals are competing, none of them receive enough attention. This is why I always encourage entrepreneurs to identify just a handful of strategic priorities. Focus creates progress. Distraction creates activity. Number 3, no weekly planning. Annual goals aren't achieved annually. They are achieved weekly, monthly, quarterly. Your calendar should reflect your priorities. If your goal never appears on your calendar, it's probably just a wish. Number 4, no metrics. You can't improve what you never measure. How many leads, revenue, profit margin, website traffic, hours saved, customer retention, the data tells you the truth. Feelings don't. Those are subjective. Number 5, there's no accountability. Most entrepreneurs answer to nobody, and that's dangerous. When nobody asks about your progress, it's easy to postpone. Accountability creates consistency. Consistency creates results. So people ask me, how do you stay motivated? And the truth, I don't. Nobody is motivated every day. But successful businesses aren't built on motivation. They're built on habits. Structure removes the need for motivation, and planning removes decision fatigue. Systems remove guesswork. That's why documentations matters so much. So, what do successful entrepreneurs do differently? They don't chase inspiration, but they build routines. Every Monday, they review priorities. Every week, they measure performance. Every month, they improve systems. Every quarter, they evaluate strategy. Every year, they refine the vision. Do you notice something right there? They're running a process. So I want you to think about your biggest business goal. Now ask yourself 3 questions. What systems support it? What calendar time protects it? And what metric proves progress? If you can't answer those questions, your goal is probably not set up for success yet. And that is okay. Awareness is the first step to get there. So why did I create the Optima Vault? Why did I create the templates and the structure around my business? This realization is exactly why I built what I built today. Because entrepreneurs don't need another motivational quote. They need tools, templates, planning guides, workbooks, dashboards, checklists, systems that they can implement immediately. Because once the foundation exists, growth becomes much easier. And that's why I built what I built, to be able to help entrepreneurs, leaders, business owners, to be able to build the foundation, to be able to scale and to be successful. Imagine where your business could be 1 year from now. If every week had a plan, every process was documented, every employee knew exactly what their expectations are, every project had accountability, every metric was visible, that's how businesses become scalable. Not overnight, but one document system at the time. So here are my final thoughts. I want to leave you with this. Goals are important. Vision is essential. Dreams matter, but none of those create results by themselves. Results come from what you repeatedly do. The businesses that win aren't always the smartest. They're often the most consistent, and consistency comes from systems. And structure creates freedom. Not because structure limits you, but because it gives you the capacity to grow without chaos. If today's episode helped you rethink how you approach goals, I'd love to help you identify where your business stands today. I've created a free business foundation assessment designed to help you uncover the operational gaps that may be slowing your growth. In just a few minutes, you'll evaluate the key areas that every scalable business needs, from vision and planning to systems, documentation, delegation, and operational excellence. At the end of the assessment, you'll have a clear picture of what's actually working, what's missing, and where to focus next. You can download it completely free by visiting my website, or I've got it linked here in the show notes as well. And while you're there, explore the Optima Vault, where you'll find step-by-step workbooks, templates, planners, guides, and practical resources designed to help you build a foundation your business needs to scale with confidence. If you really enjoyed today's episode, I really appreciate if you would subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another entrepreneur who needs to hear it. And remember, goals don't build businesses, but systems do. Until next time, keep building your foundation today so you can scale tomorrow.